Hey guys, it's Robbie John here with another Roblox Studio tutorial. This one's going to be little tips and tricks for beginners, kind of just the basic layout of a script and kind of like how things should go if you have like a tool. In this situation, we have a black knife and there's going to be a couple animations inside of it. There's going to be like a little debounce. We're also going to have like the blade because you want to have like a certain spot that you want the touched event to like activate so that when the blade hits somebody, that's where the damage is dealt instead of like the handle or something else. So let's get right into it. So at the top of the script, most of the time, well, in most scripts, I should say, a lot of people define their variables for, like if it's their animations, they define those here usually, and then they also define like their tools or parts or whatever else they want to add in, or sounds or whatever too. um Basically, to do that, it's pretty simple. If you have your sound inside of like your tool, you basically would go from your script and then kind of make your way to it. So for example, if you want to go up, so if you're at script here and you want to go up to the tool so that you can reach these other ones, you can go script then parent, and then you can go down in, and then by doing that you just look for the blade inside of it. These are basically like the children of the tool. So like anything in here, these are all children, and then if you go into blade, hit, that sound is a child of the blade. It's just things like that, because I have the hit part on the blade because that's where in the workspace the sound will emit from. But anyways, we have four different functions that we have that happen with this specific tool. Not all tools will have, well, actually every tool will have like a varied amount of functions based on what you want them to do. But with something really basic like this, there are going to be four functions, at least in the way I have it set up. You probably don't have to have some, but for the most part, you have to have something. I mean, you could literally not have the activated part, and you could just have it where you just equip something, and you can look around, and then you can just unequip it. For example, like if you had a flashlight that is just automatically on and you don't have to activate it or anything, you could just have it turn on when you equip it, and then when you deactivate it or unequip it, it just goes away or whatever. That's an example of like literally having just two functions. But in this situation, you want to have like an activated function, which means like when you click, when you have your tool, that's how the activated function works. So every time you click, the activated part of this will go off. But in certain situations, you might have cooldowns that you want to add because you don't want somebody just like spam the attack and then your animation is like glitching because like you can't get the full animation off and it keeps loading your animation. So you might want to cool down so at least you get the full swipe of your sword or whatever it is, before you can activate it again. So we have the equipped, we have the activated, and now we have the unequipped. And the unequipped function is basically where if you have any animations that run while you're like idle or like something that's happening when you're not doing anything and you have the weapon out, you don't want that to carry on after you get rid of the tool. So what you do here is you would just stop the animation that's playing, which is the third animation I have, which is my idle. I have that playing when I equipped, and to do that basically is you want to define the humanoid of who is holding the weapon. To do that, I made a little variable. You can name this variable whatever you want, but when you use this variable, you have to use it every time through here. So like you can see that the humanoid just ran through here. And because it's only local inside of this function, it only works in this function. So all these other humanoids in here in this other function won't collide like with this one, if that sort of makes sense, because it's like its own separate like area, right? A lot of times people don't understand that functions kind of work like a grocery list from top to bottom. So like for something to happen, it has to go here, then it has to go here, then it has to go here, and it keeps going down, right? I don't know why people think that, they don't do that. So once it gets to a certain point, you can say, like, let's say if it gets to here and there's an error, it won't go to any of these other parts. So what we do here is we print like the value to make sure that the value is actually working. You don't have to do this, but it's at least nice to know, like, when I'm doing math.random here, basically it's picking a number between 1 and 2. You can change this number here if you wanted based on how many values you have, but essentially you could do like 1 to 5, 1 to 10, whatever you want to do, and it'll pick a random number between those, and then counting the 1 and the 10. So when you print the value, that'll tell you if you're like looking at your output, which you could go to view and then click on your output. And don't mind all that. That's just because Roblox added the new sound thing, so a lot of the sounds are all messed up now. I haven't updated this game in a long time. But basically, these values, you can run them individually. So like if the value is 1, it'll only do this one, and once it reaches this point, it won't play this because this is not true. If the value is 1, then it'll just skip this because it's not 2, so it won't play anything underneath this. This actually makes it look a little more. Actually, this should be back. Anyways, but that's kind of how they run. It doesn't have to be like super neat, but I mean, as long as you can read it, you're the one who's scripting it and getting all through. But yeah, so basically you have to verify or come up with a dictionary of your own, and you can name them whatever you want, and then you have to like use the workspace to put them together. What's that? There's like a specific word I'm trying to think of that I used to do in school, where it's like a match thing. If you guys know what I'm talking about, put that in the comments because I can't remember what it's called. But anyways, yeah. So like, and it's really nice too because this little thing here, people, if you're really curious, this won't ever run because I have this like 2 dashes here. And what that does is it basically makes it more of like a note. So like, if you wanted to write something to like, basically make it so things are more organized and you can see what you want more, this is just a way for you to have like a note to do that. You can also block out like even more by using a different way. But anything behind these 2 dashes before you hit enter, that'll be all blocked off so that like if I kept typing here, you can keep typing until you hit enter, but then it'll go into the next line and it'll be back into the script. So basically this is like unreadable, quote unquote, for the script to go through. The other way is you can do, I think it's like this. Yep. And then to close it off, I believe you just do another end bracket there at the end. So now this is all used just like the animations. So like if you're trying to do something where you're like, I only want this to happen for whatever reason, you can just do that. But we're going to put that back to how it was. But yeah, guys, this is like a really basic tutorial. I hope it really helps you guys out as far as reading things. Everything kind of goes top to bottom, unless you have like a loop, which in most loops you'll go from top to bottom and then it'll just go back up because you'll have like let's say if you have like a while true statement, right? Do and then you have like if damage then, and then you can keep having like something happen, right? And you might want to have a wait as well so that like every 1 second it'll cycle through this while you're having this true statement happen. So this can be for a lot of things. You could use lights. You can do anything like that. If you want like lights flickering, you can do like a while true statement where like lights will pop on and off here and there or whatever. Or, I mean, there's like a lot of different ways you can do things, So anyways, I hope this helps you guys out in trying to understand some things. I guess the last thing I would have to say is the print is one of the most I would say it's probably one of like the top tier important things, because if you don't have prints and you have errors and stuff, sometimes like prints will help you determine what the error is. And if you don't have the prints, basically like it'll make it a lot harder for you to figure out what's going on, because you might be like, well, I don't know why this is going to this one, because let's say if the value is 1 and it's in it's only playing this one for, because like math.random randomly picks every time you click, right? So if it keeps playing 1, you're like, dude, I don't know why it keeps playing 1. But then you realize that for some reason you have it like typed like this, and you can go back and be like, oh, the value only picks 1, right? So it's never getting to 2. So there's really cool ways for value or the prints to kind of tell you what they are. And the print can basically do anything that you have as a variable. So like if you did, I think you can do like the animations too, I believe. You can print what they are and whatnot, but I don't know why you would want to do some stuff like that. I mean, I guess the farther you get, the more you'll learn and figure out. So hopefully this helped you guys out. If you liked this video, please hit that like button. If you want to subscribe, please do. It's helpful. I only got like 100 and something subscribers. Kind of on the slow end on getting videos pumped out, but I'm working on it. So if you enjoyed it, thanks guys. Leave a comment below. Let me know how it is, how it goes, how it does, and we out of here. So thanks. Later.